What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to get your truck to do this. So what I've done is added LEDs underneath the truck that are tapped into the lighting system on, this is a 2020 Platinum, of course. If you follow my channel, you know that, I'm sure. And this Platinum has puddle lights. They're called puddle lights. They're up underneath the mirrors. So anytime I approach the truck with the keys in my pocket, or anytime I unlock the door, or anytime I open a door, the lights underneath the mirrors will turn on to light up the ground on the side of the truck, just to give you a little bit better visibility. So I decided to add some blue LEDs underneath the truck and tap into that system. I went with blue just because all my LEDs are blue inside the truck, in the truck bed, on my boat trailer, just all my LEDs are blue. So that's why I decided to go with that color. Of course, you can go with any color you want. So you're gonna see as I approach the truck with the keys in my pocket, not only do the mirror lights, they still come on as well, but now my LEDs underneath the truck come on and light up the ground, light up the running boards. That way you can see, you know, just a whole lot better. So they'll come on like that as you approach the truck when it's locked, or I'll back up and watch. You can kind of see how they just fade in and fade out, which I think is pretty cool as well. So you could also turn them on by just hitting the unlock button on your key fob. They'll turn on that way. And then also the other way is if you open a door. So if you're parking somewhere and it's dark outside, dark parking lot, whatever the case may be, if you open any one of the 4 doors, those lights are going to turn on as well, lighting up the running boards and the ground below the truck, just to give you a little bit better visibility. So pretty straightforward install, not a bad project at all. I had a lot of questions on it, so I decided to make this video. So let me jump right into it. I'll show you how we got it done, and I'll take you step by step through the install process. All right, so let me show you how I did this, guys. What I did was I had some leftover LED strips from an old project. I was going to do this anyway, and I was going to order just one long strip for each side, but I had leftover LED strips, and instead of spending money on new ones, I just figured I would use these. So you're going to see I have 3 LED strips on the driver's side and 3 on the passenger side. So there's the rear one right there. You can see where I mounted it. Now, let me be the first to say this is not the only way to do this. I prefer them mounted like this, facing out. You can see the middle strip right there. And then the front strip is up there. You can see it there. So again, 3 strips on each side. Just had them laying around the garage. Now you can mount them on the bottom so they face, when they light up, they can face down onto the road. That's a personal preference. Whatever you guys want to do is fine. The only thing I will say is make sure you use good double backing tape if they don't already come with them. These are Blue Water LEDs. They're pretty much all I use for everything. I've never had a problem with them coming undone or unstuck. I use them on my boat trailers, the last 2 boats. Never had a problem with them coming undone. But if you do get cheaper brand lights or anything, sometimes the double backing tape on them is not that great. So if that is the case, just make sure you do, replace it with a better brand tape, either like a Gorilla double-sided tape, something like that, just to make sure they hold for you. So, and obviously you do want to clean the surface really well with alcohol. I actually had to scrub these pretty good with alcohol to make sure I got them really clean before I stuck these lights. It gets pretty dirty up underneath there under the truck. So that's where I put them. So, and again, just personal preference. I wanted them shining out towards the steps. They light the steps up pretty good in the dark. So, but as I mentioned, you can put them underneath there as well so they shine down onto the road. So let me show you where I took the lights, where I ran the lights into the truck, and where I connected them to. Okay, so this goes without saying. It would be much easier to just use one long strip, one long LED strip if you have it. But again, these light strips were just sitting around my garage collecting dust, so I figured I'd use them, for this project instead of spending money on a new one. So whether you have 3 individual strips, 2 strips, 1 long strip, whatever the case may be, when you're ready to enter the truck, you're looking at the front on the driver's side, obviously. So I'm going to take you underneath the truck here and show you where I went into the cab. So again, there's a number of different ways you can do this as well, but let me make sure I get this in the shot. Right here, there's a grommet right there that you can get. What I did was I drilled a hole in that grommet and ran the wiring through that grommet, and then I will take you inside the truck and I'll show you where that actually pops out. So I do have to clean this up a little bit better. I just got done doing this install, so I'm going to zip tie these wires a little bit better. They should be fine the way they are, but I'm a freak with hiding wiring, so I'm going to clean that up a little bit more. So again, when you look underneath the truck, there's actually a few of these grommets that you can see. That's the one I chose to go through. So let me take you up on top, and I'll show you where that actually enters the truck. As I mentioned, guys, there's many different ways you can do this and enter the truck. I'm just showing you, the way that I did it and what worked for me. So to enter the cab of the truck through that grommet that I showed you, we are going to have to remove this piece here, and also the kick panel, that piece right there, and of course the floor mat as well. I'll get that out of the way. So those are the only 3 pieces you're going to have to remove. So let me do that, and I'll show you what we're working with. Okay, so once you have those pieces out of the way, this is what you're going to be looking at. And what I did was, there is a hole underneath this white plastic piece that you can pop this out and slide it over and use that hole to run the wiring through the grommet that I showed you under the truck up through this existing hole. But then you would not be able to put this piece back in place in that spot. You'd have to slide it over. Probably do it, not that big of a deal, but what I did was, able to secure this plastic piece where it is, I just came off to the side right here. Let me see if I can get you a good look at it. And I drilled a 3/8 inch hole right there, and I used a rubber grommet, of course, to protect the wiring. Hopefully you can see that. I'm not sure if the lighting is all that great right now, but you can see where the wires are popping out right there, just to the side of that white plastic piece. So again, 3/8 inch hole, put a rubber grommet in there to protect the wiring coming through. I did use a wire fish to feed the wiring, up through the bottom of the truck, up through here. If you don't have a wire fish, you can use a coat hanger or anything like that. So the red and black wiring is what you're looking at here. So once you come into the truck right here, all I did was I ran it up the side here, zip tied it to the existing wiring in there, so it's all hidden behind that panel that I removed. And from there, I just ran it over and connected it to, I'm sure you guys are well aware, you have the footwell light right here. I did not need that light for any reason. I actually have other LED lighting in my truck on the interior, so I just removed that bulb and I tapped into that wiring. So when you remove that piece right there, the wiring in the bulb, there's going to be a blue wire, and I believe it was a tan wire. The blue is the positive. So take your positive, your red wire in my case, to the blue of the footwell light. And then obviously the ground, I mean, you can ground it anywhere, but I ran it to the negative, the tan wiring it was. So that's all I did. So anytime I get close to the truck with the keys in my pocket, open a door, hit the unlock button, anything like that, these light strips come on and light up the ground and my door steps. So my running boards. So let me show you the passenger side real quick. It's basically the same idea. I'll just show you where I ran the wiring over to the driver's side. Pretty self-explanatory, very simple. So let me just show you that real quick and we'll wrap it up. One thing real quick, guys, just to make it easy on yourself, to access the wiring of that bulb down there, the footwell lighting that you're going to tap into, it is easier if you remove this panel that wraps around the steering wheel. In order to do that, it's very simple. It's just a 10mm bolt right there, and there's another 10mm bolt up under here, and then the rest is just pop clips. You just grab a trim tool or whatever you have and just start kind of popping it loose. If you haven't seen my video on how to tear apart the entire dash on the Tundra, you can check that out as well. I show it in better detail, but it's very simple to remove that piece. So let's go ahead over to the passenger side and I'll show you that. Okay, here we are on the passenger side. So I'm not going to tear it apart and show you because it's basically identical to the driver's side. There's the same rubber grommet underneath the truck that you're going to drill through and run the wiring up into the cab. Underneath this panel is the same setup. I drilled that 3/8 inch hole, used the rubber grommet on that hole to protect the wiring when you run the wiring up through it so it doesn't scrape on the metal. And then I just ran the wiring up here behind this panel here, tucked it up in the corner, and then ran it straight across. And the way you get it to the driver's side is behind the radio column. There is a gap back in there. Now, actually, let me back up 1 second. When you tuck the wiring up into the corner here, you can actually tuck it above those panels right there. That's why you can't see any red or black wiring hanging down. I have it tucked up there, making it look nice and neat. So then when you come over to the corner here, you can see where the red wiring, that's one of my interior LED strips that you're looking at there. You can see where the red and black wiring come off of that. Behind the radio column, there's a gap. So you can use a wire fish to feed over from the driver's side, and you know, tape up your wiring from over here, pull it through with the wire fish, and that's how you're going to pop it out into the driver's side foot area. So once it's over there, it's pretty self-explanatory. You just take the passenger side wiring, the driver side wiring, connect it to that existing footwell light that I mentioned with the blue and the tan wiring. Again, blue is positive, tan is negative. So just make the connections there, button everything up, and use zip ties, you know, just to make everything look nice and neat, make sure nothing's pinched anywhere. So that's all there is to it, guys. Very simple project. I had a lot of questions on it, but it is very straightforward and simple, and in my opinion, well worth it. So hopefully this video helped you guys out. I appreciate you all watching. So until next time, take care.